Hey everybody, this is Julia O'Hara. I'm at USF St. Petersburg, and we are here with Stephen Harris, who's going to walk us through the move-in process at USF St. Pete. We're just a few weeks away, aren't we, Stephen?
Yeah, we are. It's coming in very quickly, and we hope that all of you are excited and ready to go. Again, like Julia said, I'm Stephen Harris. I'm the manager of housing operations here, so I work primarily with all of you to get you your bed spaces and make sure they're cozy and comfy for you all year round. Right now, we're out in front of the University Student Center, which is where check-in will actually begin for many students. It is also Ibis Hall. So for those of you who were placed in Ibis Hall, that's going to be a portion of this building, so you will actually live over the check-in location. A couple of our other buildings to point out are going to be Osprey Suites, which is right across the street here behind us.
The white building that we see right there?
Exactly. And then Pelican Hall, which is going to be Caddy Corner here.
Got it,
the
right
big peach
there.
and tan.
Right.
So those are a few of our residence halls, but the first thing that you need to know is when you arrive for check-in day, parking.
Yeah, let's talk about parking. Where do we go?
It's located in a couple different locations.
Okay.
The parking garage is going to be the main mode. So a lot of our students are going to end up in the garage, which is actually right behind us here.
And Stephen, what road is this? What is this,
This
4th?
is 6th Avenue South.
You can tell that I am not around here often. Okay, so I'm just going to point out where that garage is. So it is off of 6th Avenue. I parked down there myself. It's right over here where that sign is, that green and white sign. That's the garage. So let's talk about the other option for parking if you'd rather not park in the garage and use the elevator. There is a lot, so let's go look at that.
Yeah, so one thing too to point out about the garage that's important is you can park on any level of the garage during your check-in appointments, and you can also use visitor parking for up to 1 hour. So citations and things of that nature will be waived for those things.
Okay, so if you come to campus and you don't have if you're having friends and family come help you, they can come and park in the garage for up to 1 hour, or are they good for the day?
So the garage, they're good for the day. Visitor parking, they're good for the hour.
Okay, got it.
So another option as well, which will be one of the easier options for our Ibis Hall students, is going to be the STG lot here. So it's going to be the lot that is right across the street from where you'll be checking in.
Got it.
And that,
next to the bull,
similar to the garage, is going to be technically an unloading zone, but both students and family members can park there for the duration of their move-in day.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, if I come to campus with 3 cars, I have my car, my mom's car, and my dad's car. Can I park all 3 of those in this lot or in the garage, or do you recommend moving for more spaces to be available for both?
Yeah, so as much as you can, if you have that many vehicles, we do recommend you park in the garage with at least a portion of them, just because many families and students will be using these other lots and areas to unload their belongings. So if you don't need all 3 vehicles in the same location, we recommend you do split them up as best you can, and the garage is going to be the best place to do that. It is important too to point out that we are in the middle of downtown, so there is some city parking options as well that students can take advantage of, but because they're city parking, you will have to adhere to whether it's a meter or a 2-hour parking zone. You just have to follow those instructions basically.
Right, yeah, you definitely have to be aware of that so you don't get any citations.
Correct.
So check-in, we went through parking over at the garage or at this lot over here. This is 6th Avenue South if you're just joining us, to orient you a little bit about where we are. And we're in front of, what is the name of this building, Stephen?
So it's a mixture of the University Student Center, which is the public-facing side, and then Ibis Hall, which is our residence hall side.
Got it. Okay. Ibis Hall / USC. So this is where you will check in. But in order to check in, what do you need before you check in?
You need your student ID card. So if you have requested or not yet requested your student ID card, which we recommend you do so before you arrive, and you have to pick up that card, you're actually going to be going to the student library, which is the Pointer Library, and we'll walk you over there now to show you where that card office is.
Yes, so that's what we'll do right now. Like Stephen said, before we go in and show you the check-in process over here in the USC underneath Ibis Hall, we're going to walk over to the library to show you where you get that card. So how do you request that card? We recommend that you definitely do that before you come to campus so that it's ready for you and you don't have to have any delays. How do you do that, Stephen?
So all ID requests are online. So you can do it from the ID Card Center website or through the My Bulls Path. and you're gonna go through a few steps, which is basically gonna be putting in your personal information, taking a photo of yourself, adhering to the instructions that they provide on the website, and then taking a picture of either your driver's license and passport. Once you submit all those, your application will go to the card office, and then if it's approved, the card office will then email you letting you know, hey, your card's been approved and it's ready for pickup at your own leisure. So that's a good thing to point out as well. If you're a local student and you've requested your ID card, you can pick that ID card up anytime you want, as long as the ID office has sent you that email that it's ready.
And do you know off the top of your head the hours for the ID center?
Yeah. So Monday through Thursday, they are 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and then Friday they are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay, great. And we didn't go over this earlier, Stephen, but since we're still walking over and we have some time, what are the dates for move-in and the appointment times?
Yeah, so dates are going to be August 18th, 19th, and the 20th. So that's Wednesday through Friday. And appointment times are going to be hourly, and they're going to start at 9 a.m. and run until noon. We take a break for lunch, and then they will pick back up at 1 p.m. and run till 4. And those are all visible in the housing portal. So you can log on to your student housing portal if you've not done so already and pick a date and time that works best for you and your family.
If you have picked a date and time, but you need to change it for some reason, can you do that?
You can. You would just go right back to that same location in the portal and just select a new time and date, and it'll void out your previously selected date.
Okay. And if you're running late or if something unforeseen happens, you have some car trouble or something, what should you do if you don't think you're going to make your appointment time?
We just ask that you reach out to our office. Just call our main office line, which is located on our website, and an individual on that end, whether it be an RA or a staff member, like an RLC, will give you further instructions on what to do and what to expect.
All right, so we are here in front of the library where you will go to get your USF ID card.
So another thing to point out, the CDC does recommend that regardless of your vaccination status, you wear masks indoors. USF does not require that. It is personal preference, but I am going to put mine on as we enter. So we will go in. And as you can see, it is going to be your full service library for students. So this is a good place for students to be aware of as well, just for a normal year, because this is where you can come, study, use computers, check out books. But up this staircase in the rear of the building here, and then on the second floor is going to be where the card office is actually located. So once you go up those stairs and around the corner, you'll see signage for the ID office, and up there, card services will help you print your card and activate your card, because you will have to go through a step to activate, which is basically like turning your card on, so to speak. So once you activate it with the staff up there in ID Center, they will send you back to the Student Center to finish out your actual housing check-in process.
So just to clarify though, you definitely need to request online your ID card. So you need to have that photo prepared. You can't get your photo taken in there and order it there. Is that correct? I know that for the Tampa campus, that's the case.
Yeah, so yes, that's correct. If you do order your ID and your photo was maybe denied or there was a problem with your photo, the Card Center can help you with that on site, but we do recommend that you try to get those things handled before you arrive.
And to get your ID card, do you need a photo ID?
You do. You will need a driver's license, state ID, or passport.
Okay, great. So this is beautiful, by the way, really spacious, super exciting if you're coming here for the first time to be able to utilize this resource. Off the top of your head, I know we didn't plan this question, but what other services are offered in here for students?
It's going to be a mixture of tutoring. There are some study centers up in the second and third floor levels as well that can be checked out. So basically like little private rooms that you can reserve with the front desk here, and then you can utilize those rooms for a certain set of time. And so we see a lot of students who come reserve those during midterms week or finals week, and then they have a quiet little place to go with additional resources on the first floor here that they know is theirs for the day or hour, what have you.
Great. All right. Well, we're going to walk back over to the USC IBIS Hall to show you where to check in once you get your ID card. That's super important. But first, let's walk over by the water. I made this special request because when I am over here at USF St. Pete, I love the view and being able to just look out at the bay. So I asked Stephen if we could take the long way back to check out the water and some cool resources that are offered to all students.
waterfront's definitely the jewel of our campus, as many people could probably guess. But it is a really cool place where students have a magnitude of resources offered by Campus Rec. So as you can see, not only is it beautiful, but Campus Rec will actually allow students and staff members to rent certain boats like kayaks, canoes, paddleboards, which we'll point out in a second.
Staff members, so I can go rent a kayak?
You can indeed. Yep.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
So they are very, very accommodating for all USF people. So it's a really fun activity. You know, they are limited in their selection, so we do always recommend that students get what they want ahead of time. So like if you know you're gonna plan a day on a Saturday, reach out to the Camp Rec folks and just let them know, hey, I wanna do this, I was hoping to get that, and they'll be as helpful as possible for you. There's also some other cool resources that they offer, like sailing classes and scuba diving certification classes that you can sign up for, and they offer throughout the year. And that's all located over at the waterfront. So where you see all those sailboats, that's where you would actually go to rent your paddle boards, kayaks, and then you can have free reign of them. You can explore the area. You can go out to a little beach that's around the corner behind the Coast Guard base. It's a really exciting feature that a lot of our students take advantage of because, I mean, how could you not?
Right. And do you ever see any wildlife over here? I know I saw like a heron over here.
Oh yeah. We have a lot of birds. You see dolphins, manatees in the water itself. And then obviously, you know, a slew of different fish species.
Oh yeah.
So it's pretty exciting, especially when you're out there just kind of paddling away after a stressful test.
Right. What a great way to unwind right here.
Exactly.
Cool.
A few other resources too down here that Camp Rec offers is the Edge, which is a cool little kind of I guess activity center. It's connected to the pool, but students can go over there. There's foosball tables, ping pong tables, swings, all sorts of fun little activities that students can come just take part of while they're open and operating.
Awesome. Okay, so we should head back to the USC to check out where students will be checking in once they have their ID card.
And another thing that I always like to point out too, just because you have an hour dedicated to checking in does not mean that you have to be fully moved in within that hour. I know that's always kind of a pain point and a stressor for a lot of the students, and that's a question we get asked a lot. So say you signed up for 9 to 10 a.m., we just expect you to go through this check-in process within that hour. But once that check-in process is complete, you do have the day or a couple days to get moved in at your own pace that works best for you and your family. So we do always like to point that out because we don't want it to be a stressful time. It's an exciting time.
Absolutely. Ooh, and here's another one of my favorite parts of the USF St. Pete campus. We're coming up on the famous fountain over here. So gorgeous. And we're here on a beautiful day. So Stephen, are we walking distance to downtown? We're in downtown?
Yeah, technically we are in downtown, but to some of the more populated areas with restaurants and things of that nature, we're about 3 to 4 blocks away. So definitely walking distance. You also have a shopping center within 2.5 blocks with like a Publix, some food options, a CVS. So a lot of the resources that would be off campus are well within walking distance. You know, students can obviously have their vehicles on campus, but we oftentimes see them not used much because everything's so close.
Right. I bet a lot of people have bikes, scooters,
Correct.
Skateboards.
Which we do have dedicated parking for those as well. We have some bike corrals that will actually pass by one where students can actually lock their bike up and they get a specific code to access it.
Cool.
So definitely high on the security list because we know bikes are important to a lot of our students and we don't want them to get messed with or stolen in any way, so you can lock them up and they'd be safe all year round.
So on the topic of security, all of the buildings all of the residential communities are swipe access, correct?
Correct.
Only?
Yes, which is another reason why those ID cards are so important, because without it, you actually can't get into the buildings. So each building will have swipe access and each student will have specific access to their building. Meaning just because you're a resident doesn't mean you can swipe into whatever residence hall you want.
So if I live in Ibis here and I want to go over and visit my friend over in this building, they will have to come and let me in. My swipe access does not let me into all residential communities.
Yep, you would need to be accompanied. So you will have that feature. Another thing, just so people know, because a lot don't, the ID card's also your meal plan and your resource to get into things like the gym and facilities of that nature. So it's a very important.
And if you need to replace your ID card for any reason, you just go back to the ID card center during operating hours?
Correct, yes. And you will go through a similar request that you did the first time around. The only thing that's different is replacements do cost a $10 fee. So that is important to keep in mind.
Okay, great. So now we are walking into the USC. Ibis Hall is above us, and this is going to be where you're going to check in after you have your ID card.
Exactly. And so we're going to walk through kind of the steps once you get here. So if you just got your ID card or already had your ID card, you'll enter through these doors and you'll be met with the screening table, which is Student Health Services. And Student Health Services will give you a short questionnaire to determine whether or not they feel you need to be tested for COVID-19. If that is the case, it's a quick process and you actually go over here to the regatta room. In the regatta room, you'll be registered for the test, and then you will take the test outside. Once Student Health completes that test with you, you'll move on to the next step. If Student Health screens you and says you do not need to be tested, you'll just move directly on to this next step, which is keys and ID access. So the next step is you'll go right behind us here to the bullpen, and that's going to be where you'll meet the housing staff for your keys, ID access, and any other additional information we need to give you specifically. One thing to point out is we will have two separate locations depending on your building. So one line will be for our Pelican residents, one line will be for our Osprey and Ibis residents. Once you're done with that process and you get everything you need and all your questions answered, you are free to move in at your own pace at that point. So then you can go to whatever parking location you went to and then to the building that you've been assigned.
Great. And should residents bring their own carts and dollies for moving in?
Yes. We do recommend you bring whatever you feel will make it as easy as possible on you to get all of your items up in a timely fashion.
And once families and helpers are done moving in their students, do they need to move their car? Do they need to get off campus, or can they hang out for the day?
Yeah, they can hang out for a while. We do ask that if the family's vehicles were in the lots like the STG or in some of those visitor parking spots, that they do move them up into the garage. But short of that, they can hang out with their students, get some dinner, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to show, I have a better view now of the lot, but it's literally right across the lawn there, that lot that we're talking about. If you are living here in this building, it's probably a good place to be parking and unloading.
Yeah, it will be your easiest bet. And then the only other thing to point out as well, especially when it relates to families kind of hanging out with their students and stuff, is on the 20th, which is the Friday, our RA staff will be hosting their first floor meetings at the end of the day. So if you are a family member and you're out to eat with your students and stuff like that, just keep in mind the students do have to be at those first floor meetings by 5:30 on the 20th. And that is very important because during that meeting, they'll go over a lot of the rules, regulations for your students, and then a lot of the additional resources that your students may need for the entire year.
Great. And now that we're down here, I just want to point out this information desk that's in the USC. What resources does that provide for students?
Yeah, so short of actual information of where to find things, which is going to be important during your first week to find buildings that your specific classes are in and such, it is going to be the package center as well. So when you do order packages or bigger pieces of mail that can't necessarily fit in a small mailbox, it will be housed here, it will be logged, and you will actually be texted and emailed, hey, your package is ready for pickup, and you can come down during their office hours and pick it up. And right now, they're actually operating Monday through Saturday, and they're open all the way until 10 p.m., so they give you a lot of opportunity to come get your things. As far as paper mail and things that can fit in a box, you will be assigned a mailbox in your specific building. So whatever building you were assigned, you will have a box in that building that we place mail in for you as we receive it.
And where can residents find their mailing address?
So it will all be emailed out to you during that first week. So you'll get mailing address, mailbox number, and any other information that you need.
Perfect. And before we wrap up, I want to just talk about the dining options. I know we have an eatery behind us here, the 727 Eats. Mm-hmm. What other dining options are on campus?
Yeah, so other than 727 Eats, which is going to be kind of convenient style, so it's going to be more of like a shopping center, and then a little bit of grab and go. We also have the Nest, which is on the first floor of the Osprey Suites. That's going to be your end-all be-all dining facility. So that's going to be where the unlimited plans work, where you can go in, you swipe your card, and then you can have whatever resources they offer that day. And they have many different stations in the nest. They have a pizza station, salad station, a grill, and even dietary restrictions stations like a gluten-free area and a vegan area. So you have plenty of resources there. And again, if you have an unlimited plan or an NE15, you would just swipe at that front door and then take advantage of whatever you can while you're inside.
Awesome. I was just over there and the nest is absolutely gorgeous. I'm excited to try it for lunch myself. And while we're here, Stephen, moving, we're so close. Do you have any last minute advice, what to bring, what not to bring, anything like that, or just at least the website that you can go find this information?
Yeah, so if you go to our housing page under the housing information tab, we do have a what to bring list that outlines what we think you should have, what we know you can't have, and then what we think you should talk to your roommates about first. So if I could point anything out, it would be that. You know who your roommates are by now, probably. You should start to connect with them and just get an idea, a general sense of what they expect they're going to be bringing. That way you know, the room doesn't need to have 7 TVs and stuff like that. So those bigger ticket items that you may be able to share and outline a little bit of an agreement on, those are going to be things that you want to kind of talk through with them before you pack up your whole life and then realize you don't need half of it. We don't want it to be hard for you on move-in day, so it's important to be as organized as possible. It will be a smooth day as long as you're ready and willing to make it smooth, if that makes sense. So just bring what is on that list. What we always say is you don't have to have everything all at once. We understand that makes it easier sometimes, especially if you're out of state or out of county. But we just recommend you bring what's on that list, and then if you need additional items, kind of work that out as needed, because there are a lot of things you may think you love and you would want all year round that are just going to take up space in your room and you'll never use. So it's just important to kind of read through that.
Absolutely. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for taking the time to walk through this with us. We're going to be sharing this video, and it'll be living on the USF St. Pete Housing Facebook page, so you can rewatch it. And if you have any questions, you can just email housing directly.
Thanks, everybody. We're super excited to see you. It's going to be right around the corner, so I hope everyone's ready to have some fun. Go Bulls!